Hi everyone, I'm Rich Noonan. Welcome to another edition of Builders Spotlight Television, and today we are joining you on a gorgeous day from Lafayette, Louisiana. You gotta love it. You know, this program is dedicated to telling the stories of America's best builders, and we have found one of them here. His name is Lee Ketteringham. His story is next on Builders Spotlight Television. This story began with the worst natural disaster in U.S. history. August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina blew into New Orleans and blew away the hopes and dreams of hundreds of thousands of people. Katrina killed almost 2,000 people in New Orleans and forever changed the fabric of one of the world's most vibrant cities. Thousands of homes and businesses are gone. Others are still a mess. They are crumbling monuments to the storm that blew in from the Gulf, and the second storm for many that is still churning up their lives, the insurance storm. Lee and Laura Ketteringham, like so many, lost just about everything they owned in Katrina. They fled to Lafayette, Louisiana, never knowing that this would become their home for good.
We came on the Saturday before, which Katrina hit on Sunday. We actually drove kind of in the middle of the night to beat the traffic with kids and pets and things like that. And it was kind of a fluke. Lee had no intention of, or none of us really had any intention of staying much longer than a couple of days. We're kind of used to this, leaving every summer almost, or every other year when a hurricane threatened. But this time, for some reason, we decided to take every single picture out of our home of the kids. And this time Lee took equipment, and he had never taken equipment before. So we just kind of had a sixth sense, I guess, that it could be bad. So we took equipment in terms of construction equipment and then pictures, and we came to Lee's sister's house.
Lee and Laura Ketteringham were like so many other Katrina victims. They'd lost everything in the first storm, but prepared to stay alive. What they couldn't prepare for was the second storm, the insurance storm. They could never anticipate what would happen to them. Like tens of thousands of Katrina victims, they were in a financial abyss, waiting for insurance money. Many insurance companies practiced the 3 Ds after Katrina: deny, delay, and defend, refusing to pay on claims. Lee and Laura had 2 young children, one on the way. The clothing on their backs and Lee's construction tools are all they brought from New Orleans, but the decision to bring them this time would change the Ketteringhams' lives.
Make a long story short, Lee decided he was not going to watch CNN like the rest of us did for days on end. He decided he was going to work, and walked out the door and started working in several communities in Lafayette, and really did anything that he could at the time, which consisted of framing, consisted of trim carpentry. He met a couple of great friends that were in the business, and they actually provided work for him. We had several employees throughout the region. We had some that were in Florida, and we had a couple of workers that were even in Abbeville in a shelter that we had to go. We went and saw them and brought them money to help them get through what they were going through. And then I guess a couple of months later, we even had one of the employees from New Orleans come live with us once we got established within a home where we were going to be for several months. So he came and stayed with us, and he and Lee worked together for, I guess, about 6 months before we started building our own, building homes.
We were here for probably about 6 months, and we had nothing at all. It took us about a year to get our insurance money. And once I was able to get the insurance money, I was able to build a house for my family.
That house is stunning and reflects the charm of old New Orleans in which both Lee and Laura grew up. But do not expect the Ketteringhams to leave Lafayette anytime soon. They love this place, which welcomed them and so many others who were desperate to find a new life.
As we got rooted in here, it turned out to be the best thing that it could possibly be. It's a great place to raise kids. It's just a good family-oriented town to live in.
We loved Lafayette. I mean, I had no idea the amount of hospitality that existed here. We would come every couple of years for other family functions. we just really fell in love with the area. And everybody was so nice. I tell people all the time, I've never met an enemy here, or everybody I meet becomes a friend. It's crazy. Lafayette has a lot to offer in terms of culture, and there's so many things to do, and there's so many times throughout the week that the community comes together as a whole, and just there's some kind of festival, party, etc.
Lee and Laura have worked night and day to make Ketteringham Builders one of the top custom home builders in this region. They've built many homes in the gorgeous community of River Ranch, each one of them very unique. The Ketteringham's are a different type of builder. They are on the cutting edge of the newest ways to build a home, but they clearly understand the charm of tradition. Their own home reflects that in many ways. When you look at the mix of materials, for example, in the kitchen, the open floor plan, with a New Orleans feel that makes this place so warm and comfortable. In a Ketteringham home, you see quality everywhere. Look at this triple crown molding. Lee cut his teeth as a younger man as a trim carpenter. He knows how to build a home the right way. And the evidence of that is everywhere you look in one of his homes. They really remind me of some of the grand homes in New Orleans.
As far as the New Orleans aspect of it, yes. I think since we're from New Orleans, there's a natural gravitation to try and bring some of the old things into the new houses, and also to give them that character that a lot of houses don't have. And sometimes that can be using old brick, it can be using wood cypress columns and that kind of thing. Also, you know, different things on the exterior of the house, the windows that we try and use, you know, the big windows. You know, I don't know how familiar you are with New Orleans, but those big giant windows that you can actually walk through like a door, we try and use some of those. And sometimes cost becomes a, you know, factor. We can't use those in all of the houses, but we try and do something special in every home that we do.
The other thing that you see is creativity, not just the artwork on the walls, some of which Lee painted himself, but it's the archways, the mix of materials that others just don't do. Lee Ketteringham is as much an artist as he is a home builder. Look at this stunning Ketteringham home in the River Ranch community of Lafayette. It feels like a very cool beach house on the Gulf of Mexico somewhere. And it shows that both Lee and Laura Ketteringham are not afraid to do something different.
Lee is very creative. He can take something and, you know, a lot and already envision the home.
Amy and Troy Lewis own Shoe La La and Notting Hill, two very hip, cool shops in the village of River Ranch. They hired Ketteringham Builders to do displays at their shops first. Then, they loved the work so much, they hired them to come to their home and do a lot of work there, renovating the kitchen and the living room. Amy and Troy are also creative people. They say working with Ketteringham Builders was a very rewarding experience, and creativity matters.
Very creative. And in a store for women, he was able to go into the store and add some value to the store from him being creative.
Lee does notice things that I would never even notice, and I'm very detail oriented. He's very creative. He does tweak it a tad. I mean, just a play on color, like we're doing all one color and then he'll just put in a pop of color. So he does think about the finished product. That little creative side just kind of pops in here and there. And he does it very gracefully and warm, and it's just a suggestion.
Ketteringham Builders does much more than just custom homes. Lee, Laura, and their great team also do renovations, stunning outdoor kitchens, and restorations. Ketteringham Builders recently finished this 100-year-old Victorian mansion right on the main drag in Broussard. Being able to do many things very well is the sign of a great builder. I know, I meet some of America's best builders doing this television show. But home builders are also ever-changing, and staying on top of the latest trends is very important. The Ketteringhams can build any size home in any price range, but lately, smaller is better.
They want smaller houses with all the amenities. They want maintenance-free. They want as little grass as possible to cut. So all the products that I put into the house are maintenance-free and energy efficient.
The Ketteringham's are great builders for sure, but any builder is only as good as the subcontractors with whom that builder works. When you hire Ketteringham Builders, you are getting a great team of subcontractors and business partners.
Over the time period that I've been building, I've weaved through the bad subs. I have the best of the best. I have guys that they know what I want, and they know the quality that I want. and there's no corners cut.
TECHE Electric is a big part of that team. The lighting fixtures in any Ketteringham home are awesome, and that's because of the team at TECHE. They are experienced pros.
The women over there, they are very professional with my customers that I send in to pick out fixtures. They're on the cutting edge. They have all the right products. They have everything that a customer will need. I actually go in and consult and put in, you know, what I feel would go best with their house.
Bring some light into your life with TECHE Electric Supply. For over 50 years, TECHE has been working together for a brighter tomorrow. With locations all over Louisiana and stunning collections of the newest lighting to fit any budget, TECHE handles all the top names in lighting. We have the most experienced team and largest inventory to take you from design to bright light. TECHE Electric Supply. Come see us today and have a brighter tomorrow. Check our website at teche-electric.com for locations and hours. When it comes to real estate, Lee and Laura rely on the great team from Caldwell banker PELICAN Real Estate. They have a huge footprint in this part of the country. They are very experienced and knowledgeable about this market, and they're great with Lee and Laura's customers to work with.
Great service, great service. They'll unlock the door anytime. They'll stop what they're doing to come out to Ketteringham Builders home and show the customers.
We have a little over 125 real estate agents that represent all of Lafayette Parish and what we call Acadiana, which is about 5 surrounding parishes of Lafayette, and been around in the market since about 1976. So we have a nice real estate company representing buyers and sellers in South Louisiana.
Laura Stutz works most often with Lee and Laura Ketteringham, and she says it's just great to deal with them because their homes are always special.
I think Lee is a very unique builder. He has an eye like no other builder I've seen before. He's very true to his style, and I think it separates him from a lot of other builders. He's very efficient in his building. He uses his space, so wisely. Well,
speaking of real pros, that is how Chris BOURG of River Ranch feels about Ketteringham Builders. Chris and his wife have moved a lot. This is their 13th home. They know about good home builders.
One of the things about Lee is his personality comes through in his building. He's very creative. He offers up a lot of ideas, has a lot of opinions, but I think Laura probably serves as a good balance for him, keeping him grounded and keeping him focused.
This house has all kinds of wonderful little touches, from the ceiling treatment in the great room to the open floor plan that is perfect for the BOURG's young family. Chris is another Ketteringham client who really appreciated Lee's creativity and demeanor during construction when things can get tense.
I think, but for me, where Lee's creativity really comes into play is whenever we went to him with an idea. First off, he was very receptive of the idea, and then secondly, he would only try to improve upon the idea. If inevitably we felt adamant about what we wanted, he would always default to, well, let's go with what you want. But certainly the tray ceiling in here, he had major input in. Some of the molding and the trim work that you have throughout the house wasn't necessarily the most traditional in Lafayette, and quite honestly, when we spoke to him, knowing that it would be different, he had no issue with saying, let's go that route. So we didn't go with maybe a traditional crown. We went with more of an old school kind of a New Orleans type crown. And again, our experience with being from New Orleans was really nice because he knew where we were coming from. I think it's a combination of not only the value of what he built, but I think the time in which he built it. We were really specific about the time frame that we wanted to get in the house. And we were also very specific in which the budget we wanted to come in on. And certainly throughout several times, Lee had to kind of bring us in the range and say, look, there may be some things that we can or can't do for that price. But he was very good about giving us his expertise on the things that you would want to over-invest in, as opposed to putting money something that maybe wouldn't have as good a return.
Chris is also from New Orleans. He loved that Lee put some wonderful New Orleans touches in his home.
The thing about New Orleans structures is they're all about the family. They're not about separations and big walls that divide families. So what you found in most New Orleans homes, and what we found in this particular property, was we wanted to have something that was very open, very inviting. But some of the traditional features would be obviously the front porch, which is not unique to New Orleans. Obviously they have it throughout River Ranch. But the styling of the front porch, the picket fence in the front yard, the way that the house kind of runs front to back, kind of that shotgun style, is sort of a, you know, a traditional New Orleans type feature.
I don't want you to think Lee Ketteringham only builds homes in River Ranch. If you're watching this program, you're within range. Give Lee a call. He builds lots of homes outside of River Ranch. When we were shooting this show, however, the Ketteringhams had a really cool decorated model for sale. This cottage home in River Ranch looks like it should be sitting on a beach somewhere. Lee and Laura used a beachy blue color and all kinds of light treatments around the home to give it a vacation feel. Many builders would never try this because they want any model they build to be very neutral so as not to turn anyone off. Not the Ketteringhams.
It's kind of been the trend lately in this area of this region. A lot of people from Louisiana go to the beach, Destin area of Florida. And so, yeah, these cottage homes, it's a natural tendency to do the light colors. It's the new trend. If you look in all the magazines, the home shows that are on TV, a lot of times they are featuring these light colors with, you know, still the custom cabinetry and the light, the subway tiles, another big, it's kind of come back around, which is kind of fun. And we have done, in this particular house, have done the mother of pearl type subway tile, which makes it really pretty and light. And you kind of at the beach all year round.
This house is about 1,800 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, big enough for a big family bash, but small enough to be very manageable.
Another big trend in this area is the smaller houses and maybe a smaller lot and smaller yard, less upkeep, so that people have more time to go out and enjoy all the great features that Lafayette in Louisiana has to offer. Just less upkeep. But again, you do still have a lot of the great amenities and, like I said, the custom cabinets, the new features in terms of the kind of the modern yet traditional type features that a lot of the houses are featuring today.
As a guy, I could not resist asking Laura if she worried that some guys might not like the color.
I think that's a big reason why we chose to stage this one, is because you couldn't really see beyond the blue, although we love the blue and everybody that comes in loves it. But yeah, that is why we chose to stage it, so you could see the whole concept come to fruition with the furniture in it. And they may, I mean, we have changed colors before, and so we would certainly be willing to do that again, but I think that the right man that is comfortable with himself will love it.
This house is a real testament to the entire Ketteringham team. Mario Palma is another great partner with Lee Ketteringham. His company, PALMA Contracting Services, does a lot of different things really well.
Mario Palmer, he does everything from my foundations, he does my brickwork, he does my stucco, he does the sheetrock on the inside, and he also does the roof. So it's great dealing with one company, one sub that I can trust to come in and do all these things for Ketteringham Builders, because he knows exactly what I want. And it's great to deal with just one company on this.
Well, the way I do my business is pretty straightforward. Like to communicate with my clients, like to keep them happy, love to exceed their expectations, and 100% customer satisfaction is what we aim for.
Mario has 9 brothers and 2 sisters. He learned a lot about character in that big family, and it shows in his work. Look at this fantastic terracotta roof on this mansion in River Ranch. This is old world quality. If you need a top contractor, call Mario Palma at Palma Contracting Services. He's a great guy who does great work of all kinds. No matter what you need done, give Mario a call. He'll probably do it or know who will really well. Another key team member for Lee Ketteringham is the leading house paint expert in this part of the country. His name is Terry RODGERS. Terry's parents started Northside Paint more than 50 years ago. After college, Terry came home to help out the family, and he's been here ever since. He's now the go-to guy in this region for paint.
Northside Paint, they're a great company to work with. They have a designer actually over there that can help my customers with the paint colors and their selections. They have a really good product, a Pratt & Lambert paint, that is probably the best on the market.
Terry says his prices are often better than the big box stores, and what you can't get there, you can get at Northside. Advice from a real expert. Some people think paint is just paint, but Pratt & Lambert is different.
Your better paints have better pigments, better acrylics, better resins. They just work better, cover better, take less.
Go to a real pro for your next painting job. Terry RODGERS at Northside Paint. your job will go a lot smoother. Louis Pineda is the paint contractor that Lee Ketteringham uses, and Louis is a true artist who understands business. That is why he is one of the busiest paint contractors in this region. Louis has a true passion for paint.
He knows how to paint. This guy is great. He can give me the exact finishes that I want. He does a beautiful job on the cabinets. He can do faux finishing, his stain work in his production, in his timelines. He's there.
The name of my company, I called it NSU Painting, simply because there was no stopping us from exceeding our customers' expectations. And I just love doing what I do. And I love seeing the actual final results and getting a smile at every single time.
Kevin Boudreau of Specialty Sheet Metal has been the metal man in this area for over 14 years now. He does all kinds of custom metal work for Lee.
Our company really loves to make kitchen hoods. It's an ornamental product. You know, down in the South, everybody loves to cook. Everybody spends time in the kitchen. And it's a focal point in Louisiana is the kitchen hoods. So copper and stainless hoods are most liked, but we do gutters, the half-round gutter, the kitchen countertops. We do flashing work all over the house. We do cupolas and finials and chimney caps, chimney flashings.
Kevin Boudreau and his experienced team at Specialty Sheet Metal, if you can dream it, they can make it. Well, when it comes to flooring in Ketteringham homes, Lee loves using another very experienced guy for whom top quality work is critical.
He specializes in his granite. Hard Rock Granite is his sister company. They do a great job. It's all computerized. They have high-tech equipment. They do a great job.
If you need flooring, give Mike Placek a call. He's done it all. He's on the cutting edge of all the new trends and materials, and he's a great guy with whom to work. Well, Charlotte and Carroll Gwynn were just finishing their River Ranch cottage with Ketteringham Builders when we were shooting this television show. Carroll's a retired doctor. Both he and Charlotte were looking to downsize. They say that working with Lee and Laura Ketteringham has been a joy.
Every individual that I have worked with that works for Lee has been wonderful. This is a very friendly town, but at the same time, these people have just been overly friendly. It's no such thing probably, but what I'm saying is I feel like I've known these people all my life.
The Gwynns had built a home before, so they knew that dealing with the builder is the most critical part of this job. I asked Carroll how it is to deal with Lee Ketteringham.
He's easy. He doesn't challenge you too much. He does good work. He's very versatile and very kind as far as the homeowners are concerned. He treats everybody well.
We listen, we plan, and we build. So Lee listens to the homeowner or the potential client. He listens to what they want, and then he comes up with a plan, and then he builds it. He's got so much integrity. Lee has sometimes called back to a home, or he'll go visit somebody. When Lee builds your house, you don't just get a builder, you get a friend. And so he will a lot of times go back to the homes where he has built, and he's become friends with these people, so he'll go visit. And Mr. Chester, his doorbell wasn't working after probably 2 or 3 years. And I know it's simple, it's a doorbell, but Lee took care of the doorbell. Didn't ask, just said, you know what, Mr. Chester, I'm gonna take care of the doorbell. There was another one where he was back, in the house several years later. I think he was actually showing me the homeowner's artwork. And Lee went into the bathroom and noticed that the paint was not wearing as it should. And this was 2 years later as well. So at our expense, he had the bathroom repainted. And so I think that says a lot, because what I hear time and time again is getting the punch list done or getting them to come back and repair problems that may have occurred. I'm not here to tell you that problems don't sometimes occur, because they do. But what I am here to tell you is Lee always goes back. You don't have a problem hunting him down. You don't have a problem getting him on the phone. He does return the phone calls, and he does get people over there to make any repairs that is needed.
As you consider hiring a builder for your brand new home, your remodeling project, your outdoor kitchen, or to restore your 100-year-old Victorian mansion, make sure you're getting a builder that's hands-on. Lee and Laura Ketteringham are hands-on. Lee says being in the field, actually building something, is what he loves most.
I'm on the job site every day. I'm actually one of the guys out there doing the framing on the house, doing the trim work. On my jobs 90% of the time. I'm there as much as I can be there.
The Lewises spent a lot of time with Lee and his team as they renovated much of their home. They really appreciate how engaged Lee was.
You're getting Lee. You are. He's at the job. I work from home quite a bit, and when we was doing a kitchen remodel, he was there every day. You know, he may not have been driving the nails, but he was there on top of every facet of the operation.
What I loved about it the most is that he also asked the questions that I didn't know what to ask. You know, we're not builders. I don't know what it's going to end up, and I don't know what question to ask. So I do feel as though he does pay attention, and I wouldn't know what to do. So.
Another great reason to call Ketteringham Builders is remodeling. In this 100-year-old Victorian mansion, the Ketteringham team spent months of work to bring this grand old home back to its glory. They did a wonderful job. Lee and his team do many remodeling jobs both inside and outside of homes and offices. They are experts at making outdoor living spaces wonderful.
He has a lot of experience with restoration and additions. So we did a lot of additions. We did outdoor kitchens. A lot of people at that time, when the market did take a downward turn, a lot of people started doing additions. They might have taken their home, but they wanted to add on. So we did a lot of outdoor renovation work as well as indoor renovation work. So really that got us through the downward turn. Also, the fact that he's a licensed contractor. A lot of people, you know, just hire a contractor and they think they're licensed, but with Lee, you're getting a licensed residential builder to oversee those projects. And we still do those. I think what we learned through the whole downward turn was we're not going to turn that type of work away. I mean, we're always going to be in the new construction business, but there are projects that come up where people want to do an addition or a renovation, and we're going to do it.
I always like to ask builder clients the same question. Would you or have you recommended the builder to someone else? Ketteringham builder client Chris BOURG told me a good story when I asked him that question.
Absolutely, yeah. The interesting thing is, while we were in the building process, we've had quite a few folks come through the house. And every time we had the opportunity to, we certainly told those folks, you need to reach out to Lee, because I think you'll at least be impressed with not only his responsiveness, but his ability to work with you and adapt what it is you want with what he would like to build.
Now is a great time to buy a home or make the one you're in your dream home. Give Lee and Laura Ketteringham a call. They're great people with the integrity that you need when you're entrusting someone to change your life. They were both changed when Katrina took their home and business in New Orleans. They feel like every time they hand the keys to a new homeowner, they are giving a little back to the community that welcomed them when they needed it the most. Ketteringham Builders, Lafayette, Louisiana, one of America's best builders. For Builder Spotlight Television, I'm Rich Noonan. Thanks for watching.